I will call the council meeting of June 2nd to order. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is rich in indigenous history and home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. We honor their culture and celebrate their commitment to this land. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. I have a mover for the agenda of the regular council will be adopted as presented.
I'll move.
Seconder, Don. Any opposed? Carried. Does anyone have a disclosure of interest? None noted. Public input, Donna, did you have something you wanted to say? Thank you. Thought I'd ask. I don't have any announcements. There's a number of events coming up this weekend. One in Sterling is the Rotary, I believe starts at noon.
Well, noon till 4. It's our 30th anniversary.
Councilor Solomon is going to represent me at another conference out west. 6.1, the minutes of the Sterling Rod Public Library Board meeting held on April 15th. Be received. Move for that, please.
I'll move. Second.
Caroline, Don, anything you want to add to those?
I missed that meeting unfortunately, so
Not really.
was a short
We
meeting.
went through the March break agenda, which was quite lengthy as far as for the children go. But it's typical with different things. Last month, it was the children's art. Exit.
Yeah, grade 4 or something.
Yeah, and then there were some pretty good artists, put it that way, so. No, everything seems to be running smoothly, but
Well, they're certainly doing a wonderful job. I know it's quite popular with kids.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? 6.2, the minutes of the Center Hastings Support Network Rural Transit Partners meeting held on May 12th. Be received. For that, please.
I'll move.
Second. Caroline.
I do have a very brief report from our May the 12th meeting. It was a really good, really positive meeting, and the statistics are showing that the transit portion of the Central Hastings Support Network has turned itself around in the last 3 years. They got rid of a lot of the initiatives that were just bleeding money and made it much more efficient. So I can read you just a couple of statistics. So for Sterling Rawdon, the ridership on the transit program is broken down into 2 categories. One is specialized transit, which is vulnerable persons or physically challenged persons who need the specialized vans and that kind of thing. The second part of it is conventional work or school conventional travel. So we have the report for January, February, March for Sterling Run. January, we had 74 vulnerable persons or specialized transit and 51 conventional work school. And a big portion of those people are students going to Loyalist, going to study. February, we had 74 special, 26 regular, and March, 104 specialized transit and 35 conventional. So the numbers are looking fairly good, considering that the transit partners are still developing without the software they need to properly record everything. They're doing everything on spreadsheets. So it's something that they're actively fundraising for the next couple of years. They're also in a financial position where they're starting to allocate some money to reserves for future planning. They've added 3 new transit drivers, and they're finding that paid positions work better than volunteers. It's really hard to get volunteers for driving specialty vehicles that have wheelchair access. They received a van that was donated, had, if I remember correctly, 114,000 kilometers on it. So lots of life left on that. And they also purchased a hydraulic lift wheelchair accessible van, which has been fundraised for the last 2 years. So they managed to put a sizable deposit on that and then they'll pay it off over the next few years. But the priority is fundraising for the digital booking software, which is going to make everything more streamlined. So it was a very good meeting, and I think all of us who sit on that board are quite satisfied that it's a good organization running well.
Questions or comments? It's encouraging, they were, it's real.
They really have turned it around
And
and
just a good question.
Yeah.
This was the van that was the accessible, do they pick up the regular passengers too, or is there two separate trips, or how does that all work?
So the booking process is fairly complex, and the answer would be sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
But it's accessible.
Yeah, because they try to fill anytime a van goes out, they try to fill it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
is my understanding. So, and there is a full report that I forwarded to staff.
All in favor? I really appreciate the report, thank you. 6.4. 6.3, I missed one, I wonder if okay, I was gonna skip that one. That the minutes of the regular council meeting held on May 19th.
I'll move.
A second.
Any opposed, any questions? 6.4 now, that the minutes of the committee of adjustment meeting held on May 19th be received, and move for that, please.
I'll move. I'll second them.
All in favor? That the minutes of the planning advisory committee meeting held on May 19th be received.
I'll move.
A second.
Favor? There's 2 bylaws at the end of the meeting related to those 2 meetings. 7.1. Read this and we can discuss it. With the environmental manager staff report environmental 26096 regarding the request for financial relief on water and sewer bill at 49 East Front Street be received, and further, the council does not approve the request for financial relief on water and sewer bill at 49. Move for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any questions on this report, why we're recommending this? Yes.
Like, just because I thought the lady who did the presentation, who was looking after this, did a really good and very reasoned presentation, and I thought her point, the fact that they paid to get the water out and trucked it away and didn't add anything else to our sewer system, what was a good point, and I'm wondering if we should consider allowing some sort of subsidy for only that portion. I think they have to pay for the water, but there's a recognition that they paid, what was it, over $1,000 to have the water removed from the property? And that didn't go into our storm system,
That was only a small fraction of the water that went through the system.
was it?
Speak to them, Ned.
Through the chair, in the bottom of my report, I did follow up with Whalen and Sons Septic Transfer. And they removed a total of 24 cubic meters, 13 cubic meters per load, which represents only a small portion of what was removed, with the total consumption that was put through the meter, resulting in 1.44% of the total meter usage.
So 1.44%.
Yeah, so if we compensated, it would be around $50 for the sewer portion, which is fairly nil, but
That's the piece I was missing.
There was no way that the municipality was anywhere responsible for any of this. Was there like, I mean, it wasn't anything that we did that,
Well, once the water goes through the meter, it's.
Yeah.
You know, if it's outside of the meter.
I just want to make sure that we weren't responsible for anything that happened.
No, and it's unfortunate that it happens more often than you, well, this happens a lot, but we don't get requests for refunds.
I wonder if we could, I don't know if people don't realize that they can shut the water off, can't they? Coming in.
Absolutely, yeah.
through the chair, my report also mentions the section in the bylaw specifically 11.13 that states that homeowners are supposed to notify the municipality when they are gonna be have a vacant dwelling, so that we can shut it off at the curb. Additionally, you can shut it off at your meter yourself, but for additional coverage, to ensure that the section between the shut off and the water meter is isolated, that contact the municipality prior to being away or having a vacant house for an extended period of time.
I have another, like, what, was the water meter froze too, or?
No, the water meter wasn't froze, but there was some plumbing that was
Yeah.
noted as being burst due to freezing conditions. That's what the on-site plumber had noted, and it was in the invoice.
So who was responsible for the water meter, the homeowner?
The municipality is responsible for the water meter, but the homeowner's responsibility is to keep the water meter in a heated and well accessible area.
Okay.
If the meter is damaged, we can go back on the, it does.
And sorry, Matt, I completely misreading that paragraph in your report, sir. Sorry about that.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Great.
And for clarity, that was moved by Councillor Hagerman and seconded by Councillor Stewart. Okay.
7.2. Staff report for 26,099 regarding Royal Canadian Legion Branch 228's request for a temporary outdoor physical extension of liquor sales license be received and further. The Council of the Township of Sterling Rodden approves the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 228 request for a temporary outdoor physical extension of their liquor sales license subject to the following conditions. That a satellite bar be set up in the area of the temporary outdoor managed by the staff with mandatory smart serve Ontario and with the clear delineation of the exterior boundaries of the temporary outdoor physical extension area be established by either temporary posts with high visibility rope or heavy duty chains, movable planters or wooden fencing, and that the adherence to the township noise bylaw 11-25 and all other regulations be maintained. We have a mover.
I'll move.
Seconder.
I'll second.
Any questions? The report's in front of everybody. All in favor? Very good. Fire chief report, 7.3, want to do that very much?
Oh, sure.
Is Derek not here?
Can I have a mover that the fire chief's report FIR 26-097 for May 2026 be received?
I'll move.
Jeremy?
Second.
Grant? So the fire chief is not here today, but his report is. Is there anything on the report that anyone would like to address? Nope. All in favor? 7.4, can I have a mover that the economic development officers report ECD 26-103 for April 2026 be received?
I'll move. I'll second it.
And Michelle, over to you.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. So the last month wasn't that busy, but the upcoming months, things are getting a little busier, yeah, so, and I have booked, 8 bands for our summer music nights, so they're all ready to go from, starts July 8th for 8 weeks. And Canada Day, everything is booked and ready to go, and then we'll be doing it in part with the arena with their 50th anniversary. They'll do theirs from 4 to 6, more of an open house type thing, and then we'll have our events 6 to 8:30. Any other questions or?
Where is the music gonna be held?
It will be at the Rotary Club.
Okay.
Just a quick plug, the first band, I believe July 8th,
Yes,
is made up of staff from Hastings County. They do.
Yeah.
Performances at the both long-term cares and a number of special events. They're quite good.
Yeah.
Very good opportunity.
And an update on Canada Day, Friends of Sterling has offered to cover the cost of the music for Canada Day.
Do you know who that is?
It's Dave Bush
Oh, it's
in River Valley Drive, yes.
And will there be hot dogs and hamburgers again?
There will be, the Sterling Agricultural Society will be cooking those for us.
Mark your calendars. Anything else for Michelle? All in favor? Shall I keep going?
If you want.
Can I remember that, 7.5, the chief building officials report BLG 26 088 regarding the building inspection services report for April 2026 be received.
I'll move.
Jeremy?
I'll second.
Um,
Just a quick comment on that. It's been a relatively slow start to this year. In spite of the incentive programs and so on, we're not really seeing a lot of growth around here. I know, talking to the builders, they're still waiting for clarification from the province on the HST refund. And I see yesterday, just late yesterday, there was some more information came out on development charges, which is clear as mud.
okay. Anything else in here?
Just question, because I was reading that this morning from AMO. So what they're taking away from us, and they're giving it back.
We have to apply, as well as I understand, it looks like we have to apply for it back, but you have to apply in a very short window. And have I got it right, guesstimate what it's gonna cost you in the future?
Yes, it sounds like we're gonna have to make an application. There's also a portion of it that says northern and rural municipalities may be exempt. So there's a whole group chat simmering about trying to figure out how that is gonna be applicable, so it may not even apply to us. So,
Less than 50% of the rural municipalities actually have development charges. So they're figuring some way to include that.
more to come.
All in favor? 7.6, mover that the municipal law enforcement officers report BYL 26 089 regarding the bylaw enforcement services report for April 2026 be received.
I'll move.
Grant,
I'll second.
Don? And,
I'll take it. Yeah.
sorry,
I'll talk on the next one. Yeah.
you'll talk on the next one, okay. Anything else on this one? All in favor?
Okay, 7.7, and this came out of a combination of both the above. So that the motion is that the staff report CAO 26094 regarding swimming pool regulations be received, and further that a bylaw to provide for the issuance of building permits, demolition permits, plumbing permits, change of use permits, and sewage system permits, and to set fees for the same, and to repeal bylaw 2026 as listed on this agenda be approved, and further that the council of the township of Sterling Rod does not support implementing a swimming pool permitting program at this time. Can I have a mover for that, please?
I'll move.
Seconder,
Second.
do you want to speak to the Shelley or trying to?
So in follow-up, this is coming out of the BISB board, is the recommendation is that the bylaw officers cannot enforce the fencing. That's not really in their bailiwick, so they asked that it be removed from the bylaw, but the recommendation is that in the township that we do not support implementing a swimming pool permitting system. It's a lot of work, and there's already requirements that individuals under their home insurance will require that they have to put a fence up around those pools. So we feel that that is a better method of enforcement rather than having our bylaw officers. And this is being recommended to throughout all of the municipalities that are part of BES.
And the rates were just updated. Right? Yeah. Questions on that? All in favor? Yes, I think the feeling was the insurance companies will be the final word. 7.8, this is a fun one too. That the staff report 26/095 regarding the bring your own alcohol beverages at an outdoor public events. This municipal consideration enforcement implications be received. Move for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
If you've gone through the report, there are a number of recommendations, but the main one is it's optional whether we opt into it or opt out to it. Out of it, sorry. Personally, I'm quite leery about opting into it. I think it would be detrimental to a lot of groups that are running functions. And secondly, how do we regulate it once we accept it? So,
Well, and another part of it is if I'm already running the event with a license, and then you go and ask for this. If you have a license already on that thing, if you have that permit to do this, you're responsible for everything they consume too. Whatever they bring in, the license they already have on the property is responsible for what they have on the property as well. So you're not only responsible for your own, what you're selling, but you're responsible for whatever's under that permit on your property as well. So why anybody would wanna add that to their liability when they're having an event would be crazy. Cause that's what, I only know just because I just had a meeting with the inspector for our own bar that we run at the fairgrounds, and that was one of the things. So if you get that permit to let them have it there, you're responsible for everything they bring in there as well. So you gotta make sure they don't leave there impaired. It's all your responsibility. So you take it on the bar that you're already serving at, as well as everything that's happening out in the, wherever that happens, so. Yeah, it's not a great program at all, because there's people doing it anyways, so. It's hard to control that, and then you add it on there as make it illegal, well, you're just making more problems for yourself.
so do we want to add a motion to opt out?
I don't think we can opt out, I think.
Yeah, it's just, exactly, yeah, just receive.
Yeah, it's got a lot of things that are pretty negative, you know, so.
I got a question. So the music night at the Rotary, can people take their own, what they're there and sit and drink then, or is that what that means?
We have to approve the site.
But if we approve it, then they can. And it's the same with football tournaments and, so I mean,
Now, we did a lot, there's some exceptions for sporting events, which I didn't quite understand.
No.
Surprise.
I mean, it's gonna head to our policing cost.
Well, I mean, people open a bottle and they drive home.
Well, and that's.
Even that's a.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's why I would say the owner of that property is not gonna go get this permit. Once they get the permit, they're responsible for everything that happens on that grounds, whether you bring it in or they're selling it there. Like at that property, same with music is, the Rotary Club would have to get the permit from the municipality. Well, I'm sure they don't want the headache,
No,
right? So they'll just say, no, it's non-alcohol. You got,
but they gotta have a permit before that can happen.
yes,
so that would be specific, so site specific events.
yes.
Guess it that right. All right, so all in favor?
Oh, 7.9, so we need a motion to get our Public Works Manager's report, PUB 26-105 for May 2026. Received,
I'll move.
moved by Caroline, second by Don. And the floor is George's. The report's kind of in front of you there. Does anybody have any questions for George?
Have you guys used the new Dixie chopper? Yeah,
Yes, Jason has used it a couple times.
yeah. It's quite the unit, if you guys get an opportunity to see it in action.
First of all, good morning, Mayor, Council, and guests. Under the maintenance on here, where it said we put new batteries in the loader, turned out the batteries weren't our issue, so we did not end up changing the batteries.
Anything else you want to highlight, George?
Not, guess I haven't got anything right off the top of my head that, I see 5G is still ongoing over here. We'll see over at Demarass Road. They're Still putting that in and, worked on some hydro layouts for some 5G up here that's got to, still be approved. I didn't, formally give them an MC for it for a simple reason. Where they wanna put the anchors, I believe is on private property, so I'm not gonna give permission for that. And, there seemed to be a bit of a stalemate over that, but I told them if they don't have surveying for that and they get it on private property, I'm not taking responsibility for giving them the permissions.
Makes sense.
Well, through the chair, George, do you want to speak to the brushing out on the trail and why that's a necessary process? The fact you won't even notice it a year from now.
Well, one of the two reasons, one is so we could get through there with the grader to grade that trail. Number two was in our water truck to get through, and we did put calcium on this morning with, some of the activities that are going on this summer. Also, there's a big concern out there now with, ticks. You know, when it gets brushing in and that, you know, we're trying to eliminate a few things, the dust issues for the public, make the trail a little safer. You can see if you're getting brushed in and out, if you were on a bicycle or walking and a bike's coming down through, for example, it's not like you got long range vision on some of those corners. They were getting brushed in pretty good. And then the tick issue, I think is going to become something more and more we're gonna hear about. So we brushed it back, because we didn't take a whole bunch of trees out, just basically brush back some branches, and that's for better visibility. And then we put the calcium down for some dust controls.
What's the date for the trail right there?
20,
20th, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so we were trying to get it ready for that, with the calcium, better for the public. We got a little bit left to do that we're gonna have to do by hand. And, Rotary's gonna have their anniversary this weekend, so we wanted to get some down, there and the trail graded up, so that would help too with dust. If any bikes went through. We're gonna try to get that all neat and tidy down there for their anniversary.
I see the WC said that. Get that right, Yota. It said the grader through it looks a lot better.
The only thing I will mention, since we have a member of Rotary from here, I do notice that somebody is throwing a rock, I'm gonna say it. Your one little sled cart down there, pump cart, the front window I noticed is broke, so,
Oh, the window has been broken
Oh,
for
okay.
some time.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't, that's not new.
I wasn't sure about
Yeah.
that, okay.
Anything else, George? Yes.
I just want to make a comment on how much capital work has been done so far this year,
Yeah.
that kudos to Public Works Manager for getting that done. So bridges, the purchase of those couple pieces of equipment they talked about, and also, there's the township. And
Township and our gravel haul's done other than our stockpile.
that's quite a bit of work that's being done early in the season. This is just jig, so.
Well done.
One question, George. The clay for the diamonds, is that now scheduled for the fall?
I'm having trouble getting a return, well, I'm supposed to do it. I've talked to CEO Shelley Stedall about it. We're still hoping to get this done. I guess I just need a participant or a dance partner on the other side of it just to be able to complete this. Hopefully I can give you an answer sooner than later, but right now I haven't given any return on my emails.
I think the diamonds are pretty well in full use now, but they're not, and so. It's likely gonna have to be fall now, obviously.
Well, unless there was a miracle, we could get it in the next little bit, then it wasn't gonna affect the big ball tournament they wanna have, and it would be in shape for that, and that would be a deciding factor, I would think, H.
Yeah. Anything else? All in favor? Carried. And then we'll go on to 7.10. Motion of staff report PUB 26098 regarding proposed seasonal road restrictions on Highway 14 be received. And further, the council of the Township of Sterling Rod approve the implementation of seasonal load restrictions of 5 tons per axle on Highway 14 during the spring thaw period commencing in 2027. And further, that staff be directed to prepare the required bylaw and arrange for the installation of appropriate signage in accordance with the Highway Traffic Act. And further, that notice of the seasonal load restrictions be circulated to nearby affected residents, businesses, emergency services, school transportation providers, waste collection service providers, agricultural operators, and other affected agencies prior to implementation. Motion for that,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Moved by Grant, second by Don. Any questions on that?
Who polices that?
We do, I guess, is.
So, Grant, on that report that I did. After Marvin Lake had asked us about it, I reached out to the Ministry of Transportation. A little trouble getting a few answers back there. I wanted to make sure that they were also, if we went ahead with this, that they would be doing the enforcing, because I don't believe he does. So I was trying to get answers there, which I'm waiting for some return calls on. So it would be up to us to sign it for sure. It would be up to us to put it up when we felt it needed to go on and when it comes off. Big thing is trying to make sure that they would enforce it if we do it.
Through the chair, it's important to note that, this is the first time that Marmon Lake is also, it's implemented so that there isn't an opportunity for vehicles to turn off for 7 and then come as far as our boundary and get caught, so, yeah. I think it's important, and we need to send a message out that we can no longer maintain that road to professional standards. Beyond our means.
You just wanna say something, Shirley?
Yeah. Sure. I guess one of the things that's not in here is that, I would recommend that we send a copy of this resolution back up to Marmon Lake so that they're aware that we reciprocated with the same, resolution. And, we will then, with the intent is that when we go to AMO in August, is that we would bring this item up because this is going to be a huge problem for a lot of the transport trucks that are coming up and down. Yes. Economic driver is this road. That's definitely want to make sure that everybody is going to be aware at the provincial level of what the effect is going to be, and hopefully that will move the needle a little bit on the financing that we need in order to get it done. But anyway, I just wanted to maybe we make an amendment to it so that or just give direction to the clerk to make sure that Marmon Lake gets copy of the resolution.
We were sector okay with that?
Yes.
Through the chair, I just want to mention one thing. With doing this is, you only have one route. Two routes into town, that aren't half load. You will have Frankfurt Road and you will have Belleville Road. So anything that comes from the north, they would have to come from the 401. Would have to come Frankfurt Road or Belleville Road. Just be aware, because it may be an expense to business owners, not trucking has to go over and around, which I agree with Marmon, like the road is in terrible shape and needs to be fixed. There's no sugarcoating that, it's in bad shape. But that's the only real drawback to it. It's gonna be financial for some people because your only delivery ways, like again, I say the Belleville Road. Coming off of 62 into town, which is Belleville Road, or coming in Frankfurt Road.
And there could be a thing of, it's local traffic to get to a business with a delivery that they can use the road. As long as it's not the way to get through.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing is your trucking, as Stella said, is trucking may have to, that would come down 7 or making a delivery off of 7 in the north. Say Subway, I'll just use them as an example, that's delivering on the one on 7 and he's overloaded and you can't come down that road. Technically.
I know our dispatch for home hardware, for example, we send those notices out in the spring. And they try and move the trucks accordingly. But very seldom when our trucks hit that limit anyhow, it's more for gravel trucks and that kind of thing.
Yes, Don.
Question for George, if the Department of Transport is not gonna enforce this, does that mean our bylaw officer would have to do that?
Well, our bylaw officer wouldn't be equipped to pull vehicles over, I don't think. I can't speak for him, but he wouldn't have the right enforcement equipment on the truck, or he wouldn't have the right enforcement for himself. I would think there'd be a lot to it.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about, if we were gonna have to upgrade our own people to enforce that. If we can't get the Department of Transport on board.
I had a person at the Ministry of Transportation in Kingston, who was where I was trying to deal with last Friday. Did give me an officer's name and number. Now, I wasn't able to get hold of him last Friday, but I was gonna try today and just talk to him and see what the rules are and regulations and who actually is enforcing it, what's totally involved in this. I think there'll be a little bit more that we're gonna have to do, but I'll try to get that sorted out.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All in favor? Carried.
And just, sorry, for clarity, so the first 4 clauses, as you've read, with the addition of that staff be directed to circulate this resolution to the municipality of Marmora and Lake for their awareness, that's the inclusion, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to 7 point, did you have?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So is this something that we can bring up at the annual conference in August, and literally get a deputation, see if we can move this at all?
We do, apply, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so there's an application.
It's a bit initial.
Because I know at the transit meeting, I was speaking to Mayor O'Neill, and she was talking about the same thing, about making a delegation at the conference. We're still happy to go. Okay, sure, thanks.
Okay, we'll go to 7.1 environmental managers report. The manager's report, END -26-101 for May 2026 BBC.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, Matt?
Morning, Mayor and Council. Public. Any questions on the report? Anything you'd like me to elaborate on?
To the chairs, are you still getting some feedback at the landfill sites about?
I haven't personally heard much feedback much on the loss of recycling that for the controls.
So in other words, it's set that.
It's being managed, so.
Any more questions for Matt?
No, I think just maybe point out that you're starting the hydrant flushing here on June 8th.
Yep, June 8th, so it'll be a month long, so we'll do 2 weeks on the east end of town, 2 weeks on the west end of town. Following that, we'll be doing our valve turning distribution system. We've completed all the catch basin cleaning in the village of Sterling. And we've got the majority of our concrete and asphalt surfaces repaired from winter water service pipe. Well as around some sanitary structures that were just needed repair.
A lot of, I see there's a lot of training being completed.
Yeah, training, so one individual was gone on the mandatory entry level drinking water certification training. So he was off site for a week. And then we had another staff member needing a license renewal, so there's some training that needed to be done prior to that renewal. Kind of an ongoing component of operations, so.
Any more questions? All in favor, accept? Thank you.
Let me take it, okay, 7.12, 7.124. With the environmental manager's report regarding the monitoring report for the Sterling, for the rod and waste disposal site we received.
I'll move.
A second.
Okay, nothing jumped out on that report to me, Matt, that's pretty much.
Yeah, it's just a brief recap. It's an annual requirement under the environmental compliance approval. And everything is in conformance to the ECA.
Did they give us, I didn't find it, did they give us an estimated life of current usage?
Sure, I've got it in my summary. 1 second. It is in the report. I want to say it's around 30 years, excess of 30 years.
That's not bad. Yeah, claim it right away, don't worry. Any other questions on that?
That's 27.
Okay, that's close enough. All in favor? And the next one is the staff report, environmental 26-102, regarding the updates of the township of Sterling from source water protection modeling, including well 7 be received, and further, the council authorized an exemption from the township's procurement policy bylaw 156322 to allow sole source procurement with Blue Metric Environmental Incorporated to update the source water protection modeling for the addition of well 7 at a cost of $19,930 plus tax. And move it for that, please.
I'll move.
Here,
No, second.
again, I'll get Matt to speak to that.
And you just jumped over 7.13, so we'll just do that after.
I'm trying to shorten the meeting. But we'll get Matt to speak to it.
Through the chair, in speaking to the well 7, we've used Blue Metrics for quite a bit of work through last few years. But the implementation of well 6, the groundwater modeling required for well 6. They were involved in siting of the well and assisting with the hydrogeological assessment for well 7 that's been just recently drilled. And we'd like to use them for the groundwater modeling for well 7, which is required, and assist with permitting. So they're very well abreast with the site location and the geology that well 7 is 3 say well 6. So it's essentially a cookie cutter report from what we've seen last time. So there's savings with having the same consultant do the existing work from what we've had them do in the past, instead of going out to the market, getting somebody in, re-educating them on the site and doing the same work.
We've always, as far as I can know, we've had good results with Blue Metric. They've been quite. Any further questions on that? All in favor? Now we'll go back to 7.13. If the environmental manager's report, environmental 26-092 from the Rodden Waste Disposal Site 2025 monitoring and operations report we received.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Through the chair, once again, it's an annual monitoring requirement for the Rodden Waste Disposal Site for the ECA, and everything's in conformance with the standard. There's no major issues noted.
I'm gonna get you to read this one, Becky.
Yep.
Give us a.
We'll just call a vote on that.
Okay, all in favor of receiving that operations report?
Okay. So 7.15, that staff report CAO 26104, Eastern Ontario Wards Caucus resolution regarding the property tax reassessment updates be received. And further, that the Council of the Township of Sterling Run support the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus resolution requesting that the province of Ontario recommence a regular and predictable property tax reassessment cycle. And further, that council directs staff to request the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC, to attend a future council meeting to provide an overview and presentation regarding Ontario's property assessment system, the reassessment process, and the impacts of reassessment on municipal taxation and property owners. And further, that a copy of the support resolution be circulated to the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honorable Peter, I have a really hard to guess it all. Perfect Minister of Finance, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, ROMA, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC, and local area municipalities.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Has everyone had a chance to look at that report? It was very well presented. Ontario is far behind neighboring all provinces. We had not done an impact assessment across the board since 2016. Normally, it's every 4-year cycle, and even that in certain markets is probably too long.
Do I have a reminder what the delay was due to?
Originally, it was going to hit during COVID. And they opted out because they didn't want the doors.
Yeah, because 2020 was COVID, but did it just kind of shut down the whole system? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Through chair, so, yeah, and what happened in 2020 was the roof went on the prices of houses and it escalated very quickly, but the assessors couldn't get into assess because of COVID. So there was this, social distancing and that type of thing. And that was 2020. When they came to the next recycle, which should have been either done, we would hope the next following year or a couple of years later, it just kept getting pushed away. It happened in 2024, I believe it was. There was the provincial election was ramping up, and so they didn't want to touch it because the effect of I will say the effect of market value reassessment is going to be that every single house is going to get every single property is going to get a different valuation. That does not mean that everybody's taxes are going to go up. So just because the value of your home or property has doubled or tripled because of, what the prices were back in 2016, what happens is they take the total dollar value that we need for our taxation and divide it by what the new assessments are, and we create a new tax rate. So it means that your taxes will change, but they're not going to, because not everybody's taxes are going to go up exponentially by the price of the home. There is in my report a nice little 3-minute video, which I would recommend that everybody take a look at because it really explains it much better than I can. And I'm also recommending is that MPAC would come and speak as well.
Good idea.
Because, and they are very willing and able to come. They love to come and try to get the messaging out because there is such a miscommunication about what's going on, what will happen with the assessments. When the original assessment was done back in 1998, when they shifted everything to market value, there had been a number of years where it had not been done. And when they switched it, it took municipal staff countless hours to try and sort it out and get tax bills out. And when they did go out, there was a second notice that was needed. And then there were multiple calls for reevaluation from the homeowners. They appealed. The appeals went on for years. There was tax capping. There was all kinds of other things. So the reason that this is coming forward now from Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus and from other places is to say, stop the bleeding. Let's get the assessment done and then shift back into a more regular cycle once again so that this won't happen. But again, the concern is that I heard at the last council meeting was about, people are strapped economically. So the concern there is that if the property taxes are doubled or tripled, then, people can't afford it. That's not what will happen with the market value reassessment. They will not double or triple. They're not going to go up exactly the price of like home has increased from 2016. The whole, it's math, unfortunately, which I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but the whole assessment will grow, and the amount of money that we need to raise to run our budget, it's not going to grow by that much. Right, so it's up to the municipality to determine how much our budget's going to be. And then we take that total number and we'll maybe increase it by 2 or 3%, which, or whatever cost of living allowance, and then we divide it by whatever the assessment is. The assessment is a separate arm from us. And again, having impact here to follow this too.
No, that little video really explains it quite simply.
And there are a number of other, tools and things. This year too, I think, and just to sort of keep it, with it being an election year in municipalities, It's better that it didn't happen this year. It's better that it will happen with the next term of council. But because that way, it's not going to impede what's going on with the election cycle. But it is something that we push to, so that they will make some kind of an adjustment and give us a date. We need a date. People that prepare the tax bills need to make sure that we've got at least a year in running so that we can prepare our computer systems and the tax bills and get the information out to the ratepayers, so they understand what the effect will be. So that's why we're pushing it in.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And on the correspondence, I'm going to ask for that the correspondence information for items 8.1 through 8.7 as listed on the agenda be received. Move to that, please.
I'll move.
Seconder.
Second.
All right, are there any of those that you want to further information or discussion? 8.1, that is a request for financial support for an advocacy group for the rail. Okay. The next one refers back to, I believe, the impact again, so we've already discussed that. Equity source protection, that's another one about the rail. The next one is regarding the conservation authorities consolidation, which is going to affect all kinds of things, including the water source protection committees. And I'm not quite sure I agree with their resolution. We're just proceeding. Fisheries and Oceans Risk Program. Conservation again, some of the changes that are coming down, transition committees, which is even less clear now than it was a month ago. And the financial statements from Sterling Festival Theater. It's okay, all those then? All in favor? Carried. Into the bylaws. The bylaw number 737, 2026, make a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 32003 as amended with respect to land located at concession 9, Art Lot 3 from the marginal agricultural zone to the marginal agricultural zone exemption. Be read and passed on this second day of June. Move for that, please.
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. The second one is the bylaw number 3826, being a bylaw to provide the issuance of building permits, demolition permits, plumbing permits, change of use permits, and sewage system permits, and to set fees for the same, and to repeal bylaw 2026 be read and passed on the second day. Would you move for that, please?
I'll move.
Seconder.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Carried. Don't have any notices of motion at this time. Under the new business, that the request from the Sterling Festival Theater for council for support for their 100th birthday festival federal grant application be received. And further, that the council of the township of Sterling Rodden supports the grant application being submitted by the Sterling Festival Theater to the Department of Canadian Heritage under Building Communities through Arts and Heritage Community Anniversaries program for the Sterling Theater 100th anniversary celebration project, and further the council and township of Sterling Rodden authorizes the mayor to provide a letter of support for said application. Move it for that, please.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
Any questions on that? They did provide a list of projects for the coming year. So we issue a letter of support, everybody's fine. All in favor? Okay, at this time, I need a motion that pursuant to section 239, 2B, D, E, and K of the Municipal Act 2001, council now convenes in a closed session at 2:55 to address the following items: personal matters about identifiable individuals, labor relations, employee negotiation, litigation, potential litigation. And that is before the administrative tribunals, effective municipality, and a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instructions to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on behalf of the municipality local boards. And move for that, please.
I'll move.
Second,
Yeah.
all in favor? Okay, Zana, unfortunately, I have to chase you out, but thank you for coming, appreciate it. Taking that first.
And just, for those tuning in, we will be ceasing the live stream of the council meeting now, so any resolutions passed in closed session or the remainder open will be recorded in the meeting minutes supported.
Yeah.
Yes, Fred.
Right.
Cool.